So when we start, we're going to be going through some slides, which are all about like how to use Horizon, but you might want to have the Horizon webpage up also, so you can access that. I'm just going to write down the email web address. Because we will be going through the sign up process, so you might want to be adding as we speak, or you might just want to like follow both the presentation, and you can follow on the live version of the tool as well. I think we're going to get going now. I'm going to maybe some of you can see me now. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to get started, and I'm going to talk you through a set of slides which are all about Horizon, the general idea of Horizon, and then kind of walking you through how to sign up. There's a function on any meeting which means that you can ask questions. So you can ask questions as we go along, and either I'll pick them up as we go if they're really relevant, or there's also a section at the end that's going to be dedicated just to answering questions. If you can't hear or see me at any time, maybe use the chat function, because I seem to be receiving messages. At least I've received one from Liz. So that should hopefully make the technical process quite straightforward. Fab. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at a set of slides around Horizon. Okay, so Horizon, as you all know, is a map of youth social action organisations, and we're trying to map every single provider of youth social action in the country. I guess really important to start off with is that we define youth social action as anything which helps young people between the ages of 5 and 25 to volunteer, fundraise, campaign, advocate, basically take steps towards making the world a better place. And that could be in their local communities or abroad. So Horizon is a free tool which has been made by developers called Torchbox in partnership with iwill and Generation Change and British Gas. And we've made it to basically gather all the information about what's going on for young people in the UK. And it's going to enable us to access information around where are there gaps in provision, where is there lots of provision, what's going on in your local area, how can local authorities use this information to really find out more about youth social action and invest accordingly and create partnerships accordingly. So anyone can use it who either offers youth social action, like I think most of you offer youth social action opportunities yourselves, or if you're part of a local authority or a funding organisation or a school, you might use Horizon to really find out what's going on and what opportunities are available for young people in your area. These are just two quotes. I hope you can see them from two organisations that have already signed up to Horizon. Oh, the light just went off in the room I'm in. Sorry about that. So there's already been some really positive feedback around why organisations want to add their data. And you can see the bottom quote is all around targeting deprivation. And that's because Horizon will map areas of deprivation and where the provision is against that. But also people working in development and fundraising at charities that we work in have said that they find it really useful, and lots of people who are working more around strategy and policy also, because this will influence what kinds of connections you make and what sort of partnerships are formed. This is just some of the organisations who've signed up so far. So we're really trying to create a movement and really network everyone who's taking part in youth social action. We've actually now mapped 1.2 million opportunities already, which is 63 programmes. So these are some of the examples of organisations who've already created a profile and have added data to the map. So if you look at the map itself, which you can get to by following the link that I just posted in the chat, you'd be able to find all of these organisations across the country and where they're based and where they're delivering programmes. Yeah, this is just a picture of the map. So the whole point of this exercise is to put yourself on the map and to showcase any youth social action programmes that you're using. So if you go and visit the map itself, you'll be able to zoom in and out, and you can see how much is going on in different areas. This picture was actually taken when there was only 43 programmes on the map, and there's now 63. So you'll be able to zoom in to a postcode level to really see what's going on in quite a small localized area, as well as at a national scale. Another function of the tool is that you can access and use the data which is in it. So when people add programs, they'll give some information around the type of social action which is taking place, and also the causes which are addressed. So you'll be able to find out what causes are being addressed in Oxfordshire. Oh, look, it's all around poverty, for example. But you might be somewhere else and that all the social action is around environmental crisis. So that kind of insight is really important when you're making partnership agreements and deciding on what causes you want to work with your young people. This slide shows the heat map of deprivation. So you'll be able to see which activities are taking place where, but also what kind of context they're taking place in. So the darkest purple colour is the areas of most deprivation. Again, you'll be able to see that on the live website. Okay, so we're now going to move on to adding your organisation to Horizon. And this bit, there might be some more questions because this is probably like a more practical aspect. What we're going to do, if it's all right with you, is I'm going to talk you through this process, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of time to play around with it and see if you can take some of the steps already yourself in this hour. And that way you'll be able to ask any questions live as we go. And also I'll try to share the slides with you so you can go back and forth and go through each step. Okay, so there's 3 steps. The first thing you have to do is register. And registering is quite straightforward. You press the button that says register in the top right corner of the homepage. And it just asks you a few very basic questions about the name of your organisation, whether you're a charity or a company or local authority, etc. And most importantly, whether you provide opportunities for young people to take part in social action, because that's what you need to qualify to register, obviously. So once you have registered, it will say that your organisation needs to be approved. And that's just for us to check that your organisation is actually providing youth social action to avoid spam. But you're able to progress with the process anyway, so you don't need to wait for me to approve it. I will just do that in the back end. Right, so the second step is to add a programme. So what you do is you just press that red button, which says add programme. And once you've done that, you'll have to add a few details about what kind of programme you run. So that'll include questions around the age of the young people who you work with, how often the activities are taking place, and also what kind of causes the programme addresses. So it's not a lot of information, but it's specific to a programme. And you can add as many programmes as you like. So some organisations might only deliver 1 programme, others will deliver 5 different programmes at different times in the year. So you just have to see what you want to upload. This slide is just to clarify what I mean by a programme. So this is something which we're using a terminology here which might not be familiar to everybody. What we're saying qualifies as a programme is just an activity which you run which helps young people to take part in social action, or which facilitates young people to take initiative by themselves to take social action. And we're kind of saying that one programme would mean that the young people taking part in that have some kind of typically similar experience. It might be that they're actually all over the country, or it might be that they don't take part at the same time. But in general, people who take part in that activity have a similar experience of youth social action. And so if someone was trying to search or find out about social action at a really broad, general kind of national scale, they would know that those people are doing roughly the same thing. So we'd class them as a programme. So I think if you're not sure about what a programme is, maybe just try and think about it in that way. And also feel free to message me now or afterwards around if you're unsure about what part of your work would qualify as a programme. Some organisations have uploaded lots of different programmes, but they're actually one, and some have done it the other way around. So just something to bear in mind, that it's not meant to be anything intimidating. It's just how we're representing you on the tool, and we need to work out how best to present you on the tool, basically. So once you've added a programme, which is actually quite straightforward, I'm sure I made it seem much more complicated than it is, you'll be asked to add attendance data. So this section is all about being able to locate you on the map. So up to this point, we haven't asked anything about where you are, but given that Horizon is a mapping tool, we will need to have a postcode so that we can locate you. And we don't need the full postcode, we only need the first half, but equally, you're welcome to upload both halves. It doesn't matter for the function of the tool. So what you need to do this is you'll get this kind of grey box and it'll say the name of your program, edit and add attendance data. So then you would add attendance data and you'd click that. And you'd be taken to a screen that looks a little bit like this. It's a bit longer than what I've managed to put on the slide. And you would select the year that you're uploading data for. So at one point in the previous section, you'd been asked to identify when your recording year starts. So for lots of organisations, that will be September because of the academic year. For others, it might be January to December. For others, it might be different. But whatever you've selected will appear on the screen as it is here, where it says September 2016 to August 2017. At the moment, the tool is showing 2015 data. So it would be great if you could select the 2015 tab. And if you have a problem with that, then please just message me and we'll talk around how we can accommodate it. So we're basically looking for a snapshot of information. If you don't collect data in a standard year, that's fine. We're just looking for a 12-month snapshot. It's retrospective data. So we're not looking for opportunities that you're providing which young people could be taking part in. We're recording all the young people who did take part in those 12 months. And that's so that at a national scale, we have a real sense of where is what going on, not this is what could be going on. I hope that makes sense. It's quite straightforward. You select your tab, and then the next step is to click Upload Data, just like where it says Upload Data for September 2016. Okay. Once you've pressed that, you'll be asked to download a CSV file. That sounds much more scary than it is. You just have to press the small red text which says Upload CSV file, which should be pretty clear on the slide. And you'll basically get a template. And that's just a template which has 3 boxes in it. And you just have to fill those in for your program. And then once you fill them in, you will be asked to upload that CSV file, which you just downloaded. Now you have to upload it once it's completed. And that'll be it. So this is the most important bit. The template asks you for 3 pieces of information. The first is the title, which is the name of the location where the activity is taking place. So that could be the name of the school or the name of the community centre. And the second bit is the postcode of where it's taking place. So again, you don't need to upload the full postcode. You could just do the first half, but you definitely have to put in something in that block. The third one is attendance, which is how many young people took part in that location. So for example, if I'm running a soup kitchen in Oxfordshire, just by way of example, I might be running that soup kitchen in 3 different locations. So I would put the name of the 3 different community centres, say community centre East, West and North. Then I put the postcodes of each of those 3. And then I put the number of young people who were volunteering at that soup kitchen. So that could be 30, 2 and 10, right? You don't need to be super duper accurate. If you don't exactly know, it doesn't matter if it's 5 more or 5 less, but this is to get like a good general insight into how many young people are taking part. And just to reiterate, young people is 5 to 25 in this case. Okay, so once you've filled out that template, you should save it somewhere on your computer, and you'll then be asked to upload it, which should be illustrated in the next slide. No, it's not. Okay. There's a little yellow button that says Upload Data, and you would then click Upload Data. Upload Data, and you would upload your CSV file. I'm just reading a question by one of the participants, which is actually quite relevant, so I'm going to answer it now in the call. The participant has said that they have activities going on in 22 different locations in their borough, and whether they could list them all in the template. And the answer is yes, that's the point. You would list all of those activities on that sheet if they're all sort of similar, and if you want to represent them as one program. If actually you've got 22 activities happening for one thing and 22 activities happening for a different program, then you would upload them in separate templates because they would be part of separate programs. So it slightly depends on what the 22 activities are, but usually, yes, you upload all the locations of where things are happening in your borough on one template. So by way of example, the Scouts Association will have uploaded all of their Cubs programs, which run all over the country, so there'll be thousands of postcodes, and they'll put them all in that template and upload them in one go. Someone else may only be running a program in one area, so they would only upload one postcode. I hope that makes sense. If not, we'll come back to it at the end. Okay, so finally you save the filled out CSV file on your computer, and you click upload file, and you select the data file which you've just filled out. And that's it, basically. That will add that information to the map. So you can then click on the map, and you'll see that your organisation name appears in the big list of organisations for the whole UK. And you will also be able to see that if you zoom in on your area, your organisation pops up there. So this might be a good chance to look at the actual website, which I'm just going to get up. The important thing to notice here, we're going to go through it in a minute by looking at the map. The important thing to notice here is that your organisation will be aggregated with other organisations in your area. So although your name and the name of your programme will appear and the description of the programme, the number of young people taking part will be aggregated to all the other young people taking part in that area. So in my example of the soup kitchens in Oxford, if I'm running this and in total I've got 50 young people taking part in Oxford, when I zoom in on the map, it might say that there's 300 people taking part in Oxford. And that's because other programmes in Oxfordshire have also added their information. So no one will ever be able to see that I've only uploaded 50, which is really important because it really protects the data, it protects you as an organisation, and it helps us to figure out what's going on in Oxfordshire as a whole. More specifically, however, though, you will be able to see what are the other organisations going on in Oxfordshire, and can I partner with them? Can I contact the local authority and let them know that we're doing this, but other people aren't doing this, etc. So that's kind of the use case in terms of how the data is aggregated per area. I'm going to share my screen with you all now, just quickly to answer Des's question. Des, we went through the slide presentation and there's a button to download the template. But I can also send it out via email if that helps. Sorry, I can't really type while I'm talking, which makes it hard to answer the typed questions. Okay, so I'm going to okay, I'm actually unable to share my screen, which is slightly annoying. But what I'd recommend is if you go onto the Horizon website, which is www.horizondata.net, as it's now on the screen. You can click at the top on a button that says Analyze Opportunities, and that will take you to the main map. And there you can zoom in and out, and you'll see the numbers of different programs taking place in each area. So that should give you a sense of what it looks like once you've added your data. I'm really sorry that I can't share my screen. For some reason, it's not letting me do that. I'll just copy the link in there for you, so then you'll be able to see it that way. Okay. So I think I'm going to open this up to questions. Can you send any questions that you've got which I haven't answered yet through? And either via the chat, or I think there's also a question function. I'm happy to just stay online until 5 o'clock. So if everyone wants to, you can be getting on with the process and you can ask questions as you go along. I'll just be here and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. I hope it's been quite clear. My email address is also on the screen at the moment, so you should be able to email me if you've got any questions after this webinar, and that is the URL for the FAQs, which might also be helpful. I'm going to send these slides round to you all right now, so that you'll hopefully be able to use them to reference the process as you're signing up. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, send any questions.